Hello, 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 Facebook land. Holy crap. It's been a really long time since I did a video. I've been in seclusion in my own uh, initiatic world, I guess you could say, and kind of keeping things to myself and focusing on myself for a while. So I stopped doing videos, but I'm back. I'm glad all of you are here. Hey, Jasmine. Hey, Holly, Brittany, Ed. Who else is here? Guys, as you hop on, if you could just give me a like, drop where you're from, say hey, so that I know who's here. Justin, Crystal, hey, y'all. So, guys, this is gonna be a long video. I'm gonna try not to make it long, like too long, because it could go for a really, really, really long time. So I don't want it to last half of your workday if you're watching this from work. Hey, Greg. Hey, Crystal. If you all know of anyone who might be interested in this topic, feel free to share. I know that this is probably going to be a hot topic. A lot of you guys are going to have questions. Get your questions ready because I'm going to answer them to the best of my ability. Hey, Tori. So before we get started, I do want to just put out some housekeeping type of things. The first thing is I am by no means an expert, okay? Everything that I'm going to share with you all today is just based off of my own personal experiences, like actual experiences, and I'll try my best to share that with you all when it is like an actual experience. My goats are leaving hair in my hair. Don't get distracted. I'm getting distracted. But yeah, some of my perspectives are based off of my own experiences, and other things are just based off of either research that I've done or conversations that I've had with people or my own initiation or education. And all of those things are ever evolving, period. So who I am today is different than who I am going to be tomorrow, is different than who I was even only 6 months ago. And so I do ask that you keep that in mind, that nothing in this world is stagnant. Everything is always changing. And my view on one thing may change tomorrow because I have a different experience. Maybe I come across some new knowledge that makes me see things differently. And I hope that all of you all kind of try to live your life that way, because I think it's a really useful way to live. Also, during this video, when I went to South Africa, essentially through the initiatic process, Candace had to die. So when Candace died, there are now ancestors living. So sometimes during this video, it might happen that they come out and you'll hear me like burp, which I know is like super rude here, but it's like I cannot help it type thing. And then also they sometimes may say something or make a sound, like a growling sound or whatever. Anyway, so I'm just letting you all know that, because even though this is like common knowledge, maybe in other places in the world, in America, people don't really know about those sorts of things. So if you hear me burp, if you hear me growl or say something in another voice, it is okay. I am okay. Nothing is happening that's emergent. It's all good. Okay. So now that we got those two housekeeping things out of the way, guys, I literally have on my phone like some notes so that I can stay on topic here. I'm seeing all of your questions. Jasmine's got a lot of questions already in there. You all are welcome to put your questions in there. I'm going to try and answer as many as I can. If you don't feel comfortable asking them in a public forum like this where everyone can learn, which I encourage you to, because we learn from each other, But if you don't feel comfortable asking them in a public forum, feel free to send me messages and ask me things. I will not, however, do consultations over in my DMs. Okay, so no, I'm not going to be answering all of your life's questions and doing an in-depth consultation. But if you have like basic questions, feel free to ask me them. Hey, Derek, Tanisha, Betsy, Jessica. Okay, so first, let's talk just a little bit about what a shaman is, how that's different from maybe a priest or a priestess or what, blah, 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 blah. I am going to mainly be talking about the perspective of like a sangoma, which is basically a shaman, but from what is South Africa, coming from mainly the Zulu people, but also there are shamans. Even the word shaman comes from the type of spiritual / traditional healer that I think it's actually coming from Europe, I think. But there are different names for shamans in all kinds of traditions, and they've existed all over the world. You all can Google this. You don't have to believe me. Very easy. Very, very easy. Hey, Darnell. Very easy to find information about shamans online and the different kinds and the different names. First off, there is a lot of confusion in, I will say, in the West about what a shaman is, because there actually is a shaman and there is typically what's like an herbalist, okay? Now, a shaman, who is a spiritual healer, mainly, like first and foremost, spiritually based, spiritually gifted person, they do use herbs. Now, the extent of that they use herbs is like personal. It's like an individual thing. An herbalist focuses mainly on the study of herbs, and you are like, anyone can become an herbalist. Anyone can decide, I love plants, I love herbs, I want to learn about healing the body with herbs. And they can go and study for many, many, many years, learn all this stuff about different kind of herbs, depending on where you are in the world, and develop themselves as an herbalist and become a healer in that way. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think everyone should at least know some basics about herbs and use herbs, even if it's just here and there, to keep the body in balance, to heal the body. I think herbalism is great. I personally have been studying herbalism as well for a while, a long time. I'll say that started in like 2010 is when I started studying herbalism, but I've really gotten really deep, heavy into it in the past year and a half, 2 years. And I've been taking my master herbalism. I'm working on my master herbalism certification, just because here people like credentials, okay? Drop a comment if you like credentials. Some of you all have some really good questions. A whole lot. Jasmine, oh my gosh, Jasmine's got like 8 million. Hey, Whitley. So yeah, herbalism is absolutely great, and a shaman does work with herbs, okay? But a shaman and an herbalist are two different things. A shaman cannot just, like, not anyone just becomes a shaman. I know there's a lot of information out there that says, oh, anybody can be a shaman, blah, 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 blah. All you have to do is study, yada, yada, yada. I personally have not come across that in, like, to be factual. To be a shaman is a calling, and it's not like, oh, I'm special, I'm better than you, blah, blah, blah. First of all, at least in my experience, in cultures that have shamans, no one wants to be a shaman, period. Nobody wants to be a shaman. So that even like people that are called, It's something that you don't want to do. And most people are like in denial for years and suffer for years because no one wants to do it. It's extremely difficult. Just the process to even become a shaman is hard. And then to live as one, like to live, typically the shaman lives very differently than everyone else lives, and sometimes are even like outcast, and some even end up like living in the bush while everyone else is like living together. It varies from place to place. Okay. Hey Selena, hey Shauna. So yeah, to become a shaman starts with a calling, and there's also gifts that are attached to having that. Like you're born with certain spiritual gifts that need to be developed, and you need to be educated in how to use those spiritual gifts. There are certain ceremonies that are done, and through that process, then at the end, you are a shaman. Okay. Now, everyone, I personally, based off of my experiences, think everyone is born with a calling, period. You're born, you're breathing, you're still living right now. That means you have a calling. That means you're here for a reason, and your purpose is find that reason and live that, be that, accomplish that. Everyone has a calling, and everyone has gifts, okay? So this isn't, oh, shaman here, everybody down here, hierarchy, blah, 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 blah. All of us come with gifts. All of us come with a calling, okay? We're just right now talking about what a shaman is and what that calling is, what it's like, okay? So, and I can't even go into like a whole lot of depth because we got like a time limit, and this is a lot of information. So the calling for a shaman typically starts young. Typically young. Not always. There are people who are called when they're older, but most people are called when they're very young. I've heard of as young as, I think the youngest I've heard of is like 4 or 5. But usually at that age, you haven't lived. And so, sorry, that's distracting me. There's things that can be done to kind of allow that child to develop into an adult before they have to accept the calling and become a shaman. But it's usually marked by an illness. And usually this illness is a terrible, long, drawn out illness that modern medicine cannot solve or does not really have an answer for. And it is an illness that is only healed and can only be healed when the person accepts the calling, okay? Now there's some more complexity in that. Sometimes it can be another family member, but it is an illness that is directly linked to accepting the calling. So the calling comes from your ancestors, and it can also possibly be like other people's ancestors, other people that used to be living. But it's something that typically runs in families, like blood, passed through the blood. And there usually is one. There's not usually like 10, oh, everybody is. Typically, people in the family are spiritually gifted, but typically there's one shaman, but maybe maybe there's a younger child that is being brought up by the older one. That's also a possibility. Abby says typically a very hard life. Yeah, from experience. It's not easy. For me, it's almost been like I've lived like 9 lives in 29 years. And each one of those major chapters in my life was all initiation, like all education, all helping me to develop the strength to do this. and to get onto Facebook and talk about this. No, I'm just kidding. But it's very difficult. I can say for me, the calling started when I was 16. I was in high school. Even before that, I was aware of certain things. I've talked about that a little bit on my Facebook before. I had memories of my past life. I've been able to see ancestors, people that were living before, or some people might call them ghosts. Ooh. Although ghosts is like one segment of ancestors, but that's a whole nother video. But I've been able to see them and spirits basically my whole life. And I even also, with the calling, there often comes certain types of dreams that are like signals, like, hey, this person's called. This person has to do this thing in their life eventually. I'm not going to go into all the details about that either, but I started having those types of dreams as far back as I can remember, and they were recurring. Like every single month, I would have that dream, that same dream showing me this, and this. I also, from a very young age, was doing, having prophetic dreams, seeing something, and then it happened the next day or maybe the day after. What else? Oh, there's so many. Oh, and I think I was like 13 when I started doing readings for people. That was a whole kind of serendipitous thing that started happening. Also, these type of people, because a shaman is not just like, someone who just heals like physical ailments. They also can be like an advisor, a counselor. Some of you all who are watching this video right now know me from way back, and my nickname used to be Mom. In high school, very young, there were, that was a thing. And then whenever I got to college, my nickname turned into Grandma. I've been Grandma since I was 18, 19, 18 or 19, I think I was 18 when people started calling me Grandma. And yeah, as long as I can remember, for whatever reason, people have sought me out for life advice. And I've lost a lot of friends because I'm very straightforward and sometimes say things that they don't want to hear, so they kind of go away. But my real friends, down for me, hey. Okay, so yeah, there's just so much to talk about. So you all probably noticed that I changed my name on Facebook to Makosi. Makosi is the title given to sangomas in South Africa. Let me be specific. There are many titles for them, for a shaman. It just depends on what group you're talking about. So yeah, I now go by Makosi. I'm not legally changing my name. That's a title, and it's just like a term of respect. You can also call Go. You rather be called Mkulu. Okay. That's another term that you can, or those are other terms that you can use. If it's a woman that's a sangoma, you typically can call her Gogo, which means grandmother, or you can call her Umkulu, which means grandfather, or you could, typically you'll call them Umkulu, but a woman can also be Umkulu, can be man. What a lot of people don't realize, when you have ancestors, yeah, they can be male, they can be female. So as a sangoma, And as for myself, typically you are utilizing ancestors. So you're called by ancestors, and through the initiatic process, you're basically cleansing yourself, allowing the attachment to your ego and who Candace is. You're allowing that to die so that ancestors can now inhabit you. And they live through you, they work through you, they speak through you, speak to you, blah, 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 blah. Ujjayi, no, I am no longer associated with the Earth Center. While I can say that I got a lot of value from my initiation in the Earth Center, which of course helped prepare me for this initiation. No, I have not been associated with the Earth Center for a year now, I think. Tea. We're over here sipping tea. We sipping tea and talking about stuff. So yeah, through the initiatic process, you are essentially, basically dying and allowing the ancestors to live through you. And it basically means like your life is not your own anymore. You are a servant of the ancestor. You are, or of the ancestors, you're a tool, basically, so that they can continue their work that they used to have, or maybe it's like some type of karma. So maybe they didn't live their life the way that they would have wanted to, and now they want to come back and do good things and heal people and help, blah, blah, blah. So there are, in me, I can't even say a number, but there are multiple ancestors that reside in me and that I work with and utilize in various different ways. And there's different types. And those different types use different tools and work differently. If you are someone who's been into the traditions, I will say the major difference that I've found between like shamanism and the priesthood is that yeah, I don't use any fetishes or have a physical thing where an entity resides because they're in me. And so I have to feed them in me in various ways. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. They're different. That's it. It's just differences and different callings. So yeah, I don't deal with fetishes. Now, again, this is my perspective. Most sangomas utilize ancestors, and I think some people would even argue that that is the only thing that sangomas use. But I personally also work with spirits. So a spirit is different than an ancestor in that a spirit is typically not an entity that was human, had a body, lived and died. Typically, spirits are like in traditions where they have multiple divinities. That's what these would be. These would be deities. They would be very high. And so, yes, I work with those as well. Now, there's a lot of stereotypes and a lot of thinking that, oh, this is like all evil. It's witchcraft. It's blah, 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 blah. And I cannot say that there are like, oh, it's just good. There are people out there, guys, and you need to be careful. There are people out there that deal in dark stuff. You have a moral compass. Use it. Please do not come to me asking me to bind someone to you, because I'm not doing it. To kill someone, to make someone sick. I don't do that, period. There are people out there that do that. I do not function in the dark, period. Only the light. Okay, golly, that was a lot of stuff. Betsy, I miss your face too. Oh my gosh, I totally miss your face. Oh, and while we're here, Jasmine, I think, was asking about dreams and if my dreams have changed. For me, dreams have been a huge, huge part. There's typically two types of people that are initiated, or like two ways that people are initiated, or it can be even like some blend of the two. One is in the physical realm, having a teacher, and that teacher teaching you X, Y, Z. The other is to be initiated by the ancestors. The extreme version of that I've come across, which I don't personally know about because it wasn't my experience, but I have heard of people like being taken by ancestors, completely disappearing for years, and then coming back as a shaman. That wasn't my experiences, but for me, I have, had dreams where basically it's like ancestors initiating me in my dreams, teaching me things that I need to know in my dreams. And then even on a day-to-day basis, that's like, I also have dreams, and that can tell me a lot about what I need to do, how I need to function, maybe what behavior is bad. Sometimes they just straight up come out and tell me, you need to do this, and this is happening, and blah, blah, blah. But also in just real time. Sometimes it can be visions. It can be just here. It can be hearing them. And that's typically, like, that's so far up to this point, that is how I work. Communicating directly with them. They are showing me or telling me exactly what it is that this person needs. And then I just do it. And depending on the ancestor, what's kind of crazy about it is, for me, clearly, I'm mixed race. Those of you from South Africa, mixed race, colored, okay? Please try not to get offended by that term. It's like a huge, huge, huge hot mess. But here in the US, we call it mixed, okay? I'm mixed. I have many different types of ancestors. And so like the ancestors that I work with are different types, and they all work in their own ways. So it just depends on which ancestor I'm using. For example, you could have a Native American ancestor, and that ancestor wants to use the things that they were using in life. So maybe they want to use sage, they want to use herbs from the land that they lived on when they were living. I've even had an experience of like being told, oh, this person needs this herb. And I've never even heard of the herb before. So now I have to go and, okay, what is that? And find that herb. Or maybe they tell me, oh, this person comes from this group. And then I don't even know what it is. That happens. So basically, they know more than me. I don't know much at all. I'm a baby, a baby. Selena asked, are you a teacher? So yes and no. They've told me that I will have initiates, but like I said, it is a calling. And so before I would even take someone on to teach them anything, it would have to first be verified that you have the calling. And that would be done through consultation. Hey, did my dreams have anything to do with choosing to embrace and help discover your calling? Absolutely, Jasmine. I would say, like, for anybody, any person, you need to pay attention to your dreams. Dreams is the most personal and the most frequent form of communication that you're getting from the non-physical realm. And there's a lot. I'll give you a great example. For me, I actually dreamed of my spiritual mother a year before I met her, a whole year. And it was kind of confusing because I don't know if you've seen her picture on here. We kind of looked similar. And so in the dream, I was like, wait a minute, is she me? I was super confused, very, very confused. So those sorts of things like can come to like confirm or direct you in your path. And so when I had that dream, at the time, I didn't know what to do with it. But then when I actually met her and remembered the dream, I was like, oh, okay. So that's what they were showing me. Also, another thing to kind of note or pay attention to is deja vu. So deja vu is like, you know, you were shown before that you were going to be in this moment. So that's the moment that you're supposed to be in. You're not like out here just all willy-nilly. Things sometimes are planned. Sometimes things can be planned for you, and then you're just walking the path. That's basically what I've been doing. So anyway, for me, I can say the calling started when I was young, 16 years old, maybe even a little bit before that, maybe 15. Let's say 15. I think 15 is more accurate. 15, I, of course, have gone through various initiations. This specific one, I don't, you know, it's even hard to say like when did it start, because basically I was being groomed I've been groomed for many, many, many years, and things were happening so that when I got to South Africa, things would just boom, boom, boom happen. But even that was planned, and I was learning well before I went to South Africa. A long time before I went there. Basically, going to South Africa for me was to complete ceremonies. It's like doing things on the non-physical side. They had already happened. Learning things, developing as a person in the way that I needed to be ready for that initiation, and then getting there and literally just doing the rituals, doing the ceremonies. And it's different for everyone. There's like, guys, spirituality is not X, Y, Z. This is the path. It's cut and dry. It's the same for everybody. One size fits all. There is no one size fits all. Even in things that seem to be very rigid, there is still some flexibility, because the world, look at the existence, okay? Look at the tree. It's very stable, but even when the wind blows, it bends, okay? Even when the wind blows, it bends. So typically in South Africa, an initiation, you know, would be some months to even years. But there's a lot of factors that go into that. For me, I started ceremonies on this side before I went, months before I went, and then was completing while I was there. And it was hardcore. Like I said, no one would want to become a shaman. Literally the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But I can't go into a lot of detail about what happened, what I had to do, blah, 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 because most of it is secret. I'm just trying to give you all the general overview of how things function and mainly the things that you need to know. Let's see. Oh, so also in the let's say the rituals, the initiations that I did, there are different kinds of ancestors, and all of them have a different set of rituals that need to be done for them, different, ceremonies that need to be done for them. And each one of those spirits do work differently. And I explained some of that just a little bit on my pictures. I think I was explaining the praying spirit. That was an ancestor of mine that I work with that was Christian. And there's certain tools, certain implements that ancestor uses. And there are different kinds. I'm not going into all those details because golly, we've already been here for 36 minutes. We've been talking for a while. Okay. As for me, right now I do consultations by basically channeling ancestors, and they either are showing me or telling me what's going on with a person. So what the problem is currently, what the root of that problem is, and how to fix it. And I cover basically your whole life of presently what's happening. That can be health, that can be your career, that can be your relationships, that can be your family, that can be, your mental state, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I also would say I don't recommend that you come and treat this like a doctor. It doesn't work that way. Usually with a shaman, you're not coming and like telling them everything. They're usually the ones telling you everything. That's mainly the difference. And also, if you have like an emergency, go to the hospital. Okay. Even if you have like a physical sickness, I personally think that you should take care of the physical sickness. And if the physical sickness doesn't go away, then it may have a spiritual root. Hey everyone, thank you all for popping on. Give me a love, give me a heart or a like if you like this, or you can share it. That would be much appreciated. So that is how I consult now. I am still learning how to throw the bones. So that will be coming soon. I also utilize water, prayer, candles, herbs as well. What else is there that I am utilizing? Basically, whatever it is that the ancestors are leading me to do. And most spiritual work, I'll just say, like in general, what I've seen for most of us coming from here, most of us have never had a spiritual cleansing. Most of us have never had spiritual protection. So usually it starts like with some type of cleansing, some type of protection. And then there can be things done to like fix your problem. And that they can be either like spiritual things, maybe ceremony, or they may even be like a physical thing, like an herb that you need to take, or a behavior, maybe you need to wake up at a certain time. I don't know. There's just so many. Like I can't just say, oh, it's this, this, and this. Okay. Oh, you've got diarrhea. It's because of this. No, like there could be many, many reasons that you have diarrhea, and it's very individual to each person. Okay. If you are interested in having a consult, I am doing them now. I've got over my jet lag, still not totally in sync with the time, still waking up at weird times and going to bed at weird times, but I'm getting there, okay? But I am doing consultations if you want them. I am going to scroll up real quick and go back and answer some more of the questions because there were quite a few. Wait, why can't I go back any further? Oh no, Jasmine, are you still here? I can't see all your questions. Crap. Crap. Okay, so I think I answered the questions that I can actually see. I'm going to go back after the video and try and answer some of the questions like in the comments. So if you all have any questions after this, feel free to drop them and I'll answer them, or you can send me a message and I will answer them. But, oh, it stopped loading them. Oh, well, that's super inconvenient. I'm trying to answer questions, Facebook, and I know they're watching right now. They're looking at my video. Anyway, I'm going to hop off here. I've been on here blabbing for a while. If you all don't have any more questions, anybody got questions? I'm gonna hold the, okay, Sierra says she can't see him either. So it's not just me. Well, that sucks. There were some really good questions and I would like to talk about them in the video. But anyway, I appreciate you all for hopping on here and sitting and talking with me. I know most of you all are probably on your lunch break. I am going to continue answering your questions if I can. Oh, I think somebody was asking me about this, about my bracelets. Not on this video, but there was somebody that was asking me and I forgot to answer. Yeah, these are goat and cow. There's only a couple cow from ceremonies that I did. And yeah, these cannot come off. Oh, and then someone I think was asking about these. These have medicine in them for protection. So all of these are for protection. Clearly, you a shaman, you need protection. These have protection medicine as well. Oh, thank you, Lisa. I'm glad to be home, actually. I really missed it. I missed it a lot. Y'all, I went to South Africa in their winter, which is not like winter here in West Virginia. Like, of course, there was no snow, but it was cold compared to here. So whenever I got off the plane, even though it was very late, I think it was maybe, what time did I get off the plane? Maybe 10 or 11. I walked outside and it was so hot and amazing and I loved it. So whenever I go back to South Africa, I'm going back in their summer, like December, January, February, so that I can enjoy the water, so that I can enjoy the beach, get a sun tan. I got a little tan though, didn't I? Got a little tan. Did I look tan? Gym tan laundry. And I did lose a little weight too, but it was to be expected. I don't know how I could keep weight on doing what I was doing. How long? Oh, I was there for a month. And we started working right away. I don't ask me how much of South Africa I saw, because I didn't see much. I got to go to the beach. I saw the beach. Yeah, I'm hoping that next time, because I won't be a Twasa anymore. I won't be an initiate anymore. I'm hoping to get to eat seafood there. I want seafood from South Africa. I want it fresh. But I didn't get that. I did eat KFC and I ate McDonald's, which I don't eat McDonald's here, but I ate McDonald's there because I'm like, I need to know what McDonald's is like, you know? And I drank Coke. I don't drink soda here, but I drank Coke while I was there because I wanted to know what does it taste like. And by the way, Coke, in all the places I've been in Africa, Coke is better in Africa. And that's because when you flip the Coke around, when you flip the bottle of Coke, around and you read the ingredients, it's like 5 ingredients, and you can pronounce all the ingredients. It's not weird stuff. They actually put sugar in the Coke, like actual sugar. It says sugar on it. Not a bunch of weird stuff. I don't suggest that you go to Africa and just binge on it, but the Coke was much better. I also drank Fanta. The Fanta was great. Oh, by the way, I drank Zulu beer. Zulu beer is amazing. I love Zulu beer. Somebody's blowing on my phone. All right, guys, I literally am going to hop off here now. All right. I'm gonna be in the next few weeks working on being more out and open about all of these things. I know I was doing videos before, but I took some time off to focus on my initiation and my own spiritual development. So I'm gonna be starting my YouTube channel soon so that you all can check me out there. Hey. And I don't know, maybe putting together a website or something, maybe a blog. I've been saying I'm gonna blog forever, and I do have a book in mind. All right, guys, I'll talk to all of you later. Hit me up. It goes down in the DM. It goes down in the DM.